Alright, today I'm going to be doing a review on the Lafuria Curio cabinet. I'm going to be setting this up for my mother. It's a 3-shelf glass Curio. Here's the description right there. I'll link something below in the description about where you can get it and more details. There are a few parts involved, and it looks like you'll need a Phillips screwdriver, the relatively large one, a bit, and then an electric drill will make it a lot easier if you have that. So far, I already did the first stage. I put the feet on. I suggest doing it on a moving blanket or something so you don't scratch it up. And the instructions is not that clear. They didn't label the parts. So you have to pay attention to things like that little cutout on C versus D. It doesn't have it. Stuff like that you need to look for. But I guess this would be the base. And then these are some of the long glass panels that will go on there. And I'll be doing a few segments of it, but I don't think I'll be able to just sit here and do the whole thing while filming. But we'll get some segments in. Catch the important parts. Tinker and Tom on YouTube. Please hit subscribe or like. Please share with your friends. If you're just getting started and you're confused which screws to grab, you also need to look at, it'll tell you how many of each kind there are. So this type, the number 10, there's 4 of those. And there'd be 8 of the smaller studs, 12 of the little longer ones, stuff like that. That'll help you differentiate in the packaging which ones you need, because it doesn't really tell you a whole lot. I think it's right under $200 too.
$192.
Alright, the second step was a little bit more confusing. It didn't really tell you much. But I did find that there were 12 of these studs that come with these, I don't know, locking nuts or whatever you want to call them. I guess you put the washer in first, over that. And then what it's going to do is hold this glass panel using these holes through the corners with these little curved brackets. So I'm guessing they'll fit somewhere like something like there at the angle, and then we'll attach the 2 panels together. But let me get into that and I'll let you guys know. This update so far was a little complicated. You want to make sure these brackets look even. If they're not going in even, then I had to play with these long panels, and I had to flip them upside down to get them to fit. The first time I put it on, even though the instructions said it would work like that, it didn't fit. It's like one way. So kind of rotate these panels, play with them. They should fit the brackets. And then you put it in from the outside, the screws, and then the little nubs on the inside. And then don't tighten everything super tight yet. You want to have a little wiggle playroom. And then you can go back and tighten everything down, because this thing is finicky. Yeah, I put some fingerprints on there trying to work from the inside. So I don't know, you can just see how we've done it. Notice a little open loop bracket there. We're getting close to the part where you put the door on. I just got to finish up putting those down there, which I had to open another bag of screws to go with those brackets, the number 2, 8 times. 8 of those. It was in another little baggie, and it didn't have any locking studs, so it was just studs and washers. And I guess you combine that with the last bag they had you go into, the number 5. Yeah, the number 5 brackets, it goes with those. When I'm messing, the opening will go down in this direction. with the big opening down. And this like that. Okay. And you, of course, you do it from the inside. Like this. You should still have some of these short ones. Sorry. A little of these short ones still left over from the last step. Those were these. The short ones. And those go to cap those off. Okay. I'll get back to you guys once I get this a little bit closer to being finished. Also keep note of these little wood. You want to watch the spacing down here in the grooves. Make sure there's not too much gap. The product is finally put together and finished. It gave us some headaches, but it's not too bad. All right, so it is done. I did just want to give you guys some tips on how it works. So this does operate like that. So you're gonna make note of the groove in there. Mine did not come with these little metal screws that I had to get on my own from Ace Hardware or something. And then just make sure it lines up, and that piece will slide in like that. Okay. And the hardest part, or one of the hardest part, to get these black part to go in where it rotates the door, you have to use a rubber mallet. Don't use a metal one because you'll probably break something. So I used a rubber mallet and I pressed them down, seated them into place, and then I was able to slide these in. And then I also had to remove this one and back here so I could lift this up, this black part up, so I could slide it back on top of the little pin that sticks up right there. So it's all done. I don't like the instructions, so you guys will have it easier. Just showing y'all what it looks like now, some stuff in there. And for the price you pay versus somewhere else, I mean, it does pretty well. So you save some money using Amazon, and you can still get a display cabinet that looks expensive. Yeah. Please hit like or subscribe. Tinkering Tom on YouTube. Peace.